Hey guys, Donut here, and today I'm going to be showing you the S15 drift build, so I hope you enjoy and stick around to find out more. So the first thing I wanted to get into is the engine, and that is the JZ2 GT, and that is what I'm currently using for this. And the transmission is, the differential is fine. I use all these on Ultimate. People that they say you need to use different ones, I mean, you don't have to. The gas tank I have on that because it adds more weight to the rear and it helps me balance the front and the rear, and I put the car weight on first. So getting into it, we have the JZ2 GT, or the Super engine, and well, it powers a lot of different things. For the engine itself, we have ultimate intake manifold, fuel system, cylinder head, engine block, exhaust manifold, and exhaust. So the next thing is transmission drivetrain, and we use the clutch ultimate, differential ultimate, transmission ultimate, and we also use the T50S. And the reason why is because it's already like an upgraded differential and everything on it. So it's a sports edition. That's what they use in drifting and all that fun stuff on Formula Drift. So what we'll do is, I like using, for the actual tune, I like using somewhat similar to like hybrids or pyramids. So I like putting it all the way over so we have a max final drive, and then setting it to low to the first and second gear, so that'll get us up to about like 40 or 50 miles per hour. And the second gear and third, they're pretty much like they're there, but I mean really I could lower the third some, because how it's been behaving. I could probably drop it down to like 125, and that'll probably feel a little bit better, or 129, and that'll feel a little bit better. But you can play around with it as you see. I would just leave these as is. I mean, there's not really much to go off of. All you really want, like if you want to make this yourself, just set this all the way over, set this all the way over, put this one right here, that one right here, and this one either in the middle, or just put that one right there, and that one right there. Press apply, and then just do like small fine adjustments until you get this to go to 181, or like the max speed of what you had it at. Like that's pretty much all there is to it. So if you were to still race this car, you would still have all the max speed, and as you see, it's still messing with me. It's like giving me the +1 and then losing it. I don't know where I lost that. The lock acceleration is another thing. I've had this, like I put it at, I try to adjust it because this is different from most. They say having it up here is better, but no, not when you're drifting. You don't want it full swing, because then you'll keep straightening out. But for the suspension, um, you can go down here and use the Elite one. What I chose to do is just kind of look at what the Elite one is and then adjust it based off that, and then my own preferences, because you are going to be adding more weight to it over time, so I have a little bit extra on the stiffness. On the front roll bar, a lot of people tend to overlook this. I myself overlooked it for a while, but this will affect how you drift sometimes. It will help if you're spinning out and you already have like decent acronym, and you know you should have a better, or you know that you should be drifting and something's not going right. Try to check your anti-roll bars. Sometimes you just need to have these a little bit more stiffer, and just have like a 1/3 balance to them, or like a 2/3 balance to them, like 1/3 balance difference or 2/3 balance difference in the front to 1/3 in the back type of ratio. And then for the camber, this kind of is like, it can go both ways because there's different drifting setups. You can have it wider or have it to where it's more positive. I prefer the positive because you get a little bit faster traction in transitions when you have wider camber, You typically have a little bit more slower transitions, but you can still adjust it to where you have faster transitions, and it really doesn't make a difference. Why you'd want wider camber, like more negative, is because you'll have more grip when you're going like downhill or doing stuff of that nature, or like going uphill and you have to pivot, and a lot of the car's weight is going on the side, so more of the car's weight can transfer and you'll still have grip. But for most cases and scenarios, you'll just want to keep this at like semi-positive or negative, because what happens is, like, if this is like like I like to look at the rim and how this kind of slants downwards. What you want is just like a slight slant. You don't really want that much. Really, you could have it flat, like something like this, and it'll still be just okay, because as long as it's going to be sliding flat or just like pushing downwards to make it flat, then it's alright. But that's all you really want. And for the front, I mean, there's really not much to explain for the Ackerman. You kind of want it to be, the best way I could explain it is, you see this line on this bar, you want this to kind of be diagonal with it, and that's the best way I could say it. Or like just make a V with your spring, because when you come down to the tire, you only want the rim not to be touching the road, but just like having a little bit of tire left. I mean, I don't like having 100% Ackerman because I use controller and it's a lot more finicky, but this is kind of what you want your tire to look like. So it has full contact with the road, but it's also not really going too crazy as far as the angle, because you don't really want it to look like this. Sorry, I don't want it to look like okay, I just messed that up. Let's go back, and then I had F6. So this is a safe spot, but what I'm trying to show is, so see how this, okay, this is what you don't want. You don't want it to look like this. If it looks like this, then you got way too much, or you got way too much of something, or you don't have enough of something. You don't want it to look that far over. Some people try to opt and make it look like this, and like make it bend forward, and makes it a little bit easier to drift. But that's like the RC style type of drift. If you get prototype, then you can make that happen, and the car's tire will actually like bend inward, and it helps a lot for it. But as far as anything else, this is like a pretty rudimental of what you'll want and how to adjust it. I don't even have prototypes on this car as far as the suspension or anything. And then for the wheels, I have it set to 26 so that the tires are poking out just a little bit. And the rears, how I went with them is, I tried to line up the shininess to where the rim stopped. I've tried it before all the way planted in the middle like this, to where like the rims just match up with it. And how oh yeah, so like the rims would like match up with the outskirts of the body right here. But it overall, like after a while, it just started feeling weird, so I had to widen it, and this feels a lot more comfier. Feels like I got a bit more steady control and just overall just smoothness. I typically use more air in the front, but sometimes I use more air in the rear depending on the car, and you get more control out of the car. And also I have lower tire pressure because it helps with tire contact and just keeping the tires on the road. And if they have to heat up, then you still have decent contact, so they might go up to like 2 bars rather than just going up to 3, and then you can't drive your car anymore, or just losing contact or excessive centering. Typically for the air, I try to keep it a little bit low so you can have full contact with the road and allow the tires to heat up some, but they're going to work different for everybody. So it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Like I can change it right now with the air pressure, and it's not going to really affect it too much. As far as the tires, I use the Elites, the 18 rims, and I'm using 305s in the front, so it is kind of grippy, and 305s in the back, and straight up stretch. I don't like using the streets. They just look wonky. I mean, you could use the streets, but they just look wonky to me. they handle the same way as far as I'm concerned. I've tried them both and I've used them both, and it's really just, I would just say use stretch if you want to use stretch, or use street if you want to use street. If you're using a steering wheel, maybe it feels better, or maybe it's too sensitive. I know that steering wheel has a lot of stabilizations and assistance, so it's a lot more easier to get a higher drift score, but I'm not going to talk about that. That's a different topic. Either way, that's the tune, guys. I hope you enjoyed. So this is the S15. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have liked this video, or you like the tune, please do consider subscribing. Thanks for coming around, hanging out, and peace.